Welcome back, guys. Just outside the Punta Gorda Yacht Club here today and getting right into it. Had a customer send me an article from Redfin stating that 48% of all the listings in the Sarasota, Bradenton, North Port MSA had price drops last month. That was the highest in the nation. Not surprising to myself or anyone else who follows the channel here, though I do continue to argue I don't believe North Port should be grouped in with those two other areas. Drastically different markets. I mean, drastically different geographic locations, but they throw it in there. I would not be surprised if most of those price drops were regulated to North Port, to be honest with you, because as I've mentioned, North Port is having a tough time, more so than most of Southwest Florida right now, because they are back to like 2009 levels of inventory. Not to be outdone, Tampa came in second place actually, with 44% of their listings having price reductions in the month of March. That was surprising to me because, as you guys know from my analysis, anytime we look at Tampa, it still looks very hot, though a couple of commenters have mentioned that they are seeing listings pile up, things stay on the market longer there, but their supply is still very tight. If you guys saw my review on all the markets and cities in Florida I went through, Miami, surprisingly, seeing a 56% jump in listings year over year for the month of March. So little things happening here and there. That was the kind of stuff that I saw here. You know, 9-10 months ago, we started seeing small jumps like that. I guess small, 50% is small now. 50% increase in listings. That kind of stuff was starting here, and it was, at the time, it was massive, but now when you look at year-over-year numbers and see that we have over 100% increases in listings from the year before, 50 actually seems pretty reasonable. So to see Miami go that high is interesting. Gonna keep an eye on that. But like I said, to Tampa, even 44% price drops there, doesn't seem to be getting them where they need to be for most people in the area, but a lot of wealthy people heading down here, a lot of wealthy people buying. Luxury is still moving, as you guys know. On my end, offers are remaining aggressive. I've been pretty much consistent with this all spring. I believe I'll keep doing it all summer. It's not uncommon to throw 10 to 15% under asking price on some things right now. In fact, I just closed a house that was originally listed for $625,000. We got it for $550,000, and I got some seller assists on it as well. So can people argue, well, it should have never been $625,000 to begin with? Potentially, but the home appraised well over what we got it for, so that's always a good sign. All you read across the country is how hot sales are in March. Even in Florida, they were very hot for March. They're gonna be hot for April from what I'm seeing. Not as good as March, and we've got some pendings lined up here in Southwest Florida for May that look pretty strong as well. But at the same time, we're listing so many homes. I'm still seeing 200 to 300 homes come on the market, pretty much from North Port down to Punta Gorda, Inglewood, everything in between each week. So we're putting 200 to 300 on a week, and the solds are not compensating for that still. We're keeping our inventory high. I'm seeing the same thing going down in Cape Coral. Sarasota's inventory is climbing a little bit, though it's pulled back. It was real close. It was pretty much firmly in a buyer's market. Now I'd say it's definitely more balanced than anything. But things are moving here. Things are definitely moving. I was surprised today. I was working with a customer to find that I had to call several inspectors because they had no bookings available for, one was booked for 2 weeks, they told me. Couldn't get anything quick. Snuck a guy in there, thank God. But yeah, I haven't heard that happen in quite some time, to the extent where, hey, we can't even get to the house for a week or two, which is kind of strange because nobody's gonna do a 2-week inspection period at this point. So I thought that was interesting. Right now, inspectors seem pretty busy. Not sure if it's with resales or insurance related inspections, but we called 3 or 4 and they were all pretty rocking right now. Looks like we are going to close about 437 single family homes here in Charlotte County for the month of April. Another strong month. Broke that out for you guys. 116 of those sales were actually under 300,000, which I haven't seen in a while. So 27% of our sales here of single family homes were under 300 grand. And 21% were over 600,000. So we had 91 homes sell from 600. Well, actually, we had one sell for 6 million down on Boca Grande and another 3 million under that. So that'll skew the average sales price a little bit there. The closest ones behind it were like 2 million. So you get a 6 million guy in there, it's really gonna pull your numbers. The majority of our sales are in the 300,000 to the 600,000 price bracket, which I have mentioned. Kind of, that's where interest rates being this high really start to affect things. That's actually 52% of our sales were in that price bracket. So if you have cash in that price bracket right now, you've got a little more leverage, in my opinion, because it's very hard to finance those properties because of current interest rates and what we've mentioned before. Once you get over 600,000, mostly cash transactions are starting to happen there. Even under 300 are a lot of cash transactions because low barrier. So in that 3 to 6, you can wheel and deal a little more if you've got cash, it seems like. And out of our 437 closings, according to the MLS, 172 of those were cash. So a little higher than normal, 40%. Normally we do 30. And that's a lot for some people, I understand that, but it is normally 30%. So 40% is a bit of a jump there. Man, look at this guy, brand new, going up right on the water. Oh, jeez, this thing's a monster. How many garages you got in here? 3? 5? I'm not even sure what's happening here. Looks like 5 garages. Wow, look at that. Take a look at that view, guys, too. Boom. See our old Sunseeker resort out there. It's also no secret that Florida has a massive insurance problem right now, and they just announced, Progressive just announced, that they're canceling 100,000 policies in the state. Now, they've come in and some companies have come in and scooped them up already. One thing I found interesting is a recent closing I had. The buyer was quoted on the home $8,500, not near water, no, not in a flood zone, just $8,500. And the company that came in and was purchasing Progressive's insurance policies actually offered him $3,500, which, as you guys can imagine, is a massive savings, massive difference. So obviously they went in that direction, and we'll see, does that stay where it is next year? But it almost determined if they could buy the home or not. Like that's how crazy the swings are here. But if that's an indication of other companies coming in, we could be starting to see some insurance relief as more enter, granted if we don't get some sort of major storm. As I walk past these condos here, you'll notice the first floor is for parking. So they are 3 stories. I got some rules going on there, some new laws. I wanted to bring up a condo situation pretty much exactly like this. Has the parking under, I mentioned it a few weeks ago that basically they had a condo complex like this. It got rezoned into a flood zone, and the HOA decided they're not going to carry the flood insurance, which puts everybody on the hook for a multitude of problems. But what I did notice was a condo was listed in there for $170,000. This rule took effect, or this change took effect. They did not get the flood insurance. It subsequently has closed at $120,000. So that's $50,000 off, guys. When you can only get cash buyers, that's the kind of stuff that can happen in your complex very quickly if the HOA decides that they don't care that no one in there can get a mortgage. It can, that's a huge clip. It can shoot values down like that. So, if you're in a condo, these are some things to consider. Another thing that I went over this week is I had a gentleman who was looking to purchase some land from a friend. And he said, hey, I want to come and talk to you. I want to take a look at that. And I don't really talk about land here that much, but it's kind of a similar situation. He was looking at these lots. The person bought them in 2004 for $13,000. He said, what do you think they're worth? I said, to you, about $5,000. If you can get them even cheaper, go for it. And that kind of took him by surprise. He said, why is that? So I pulled up the MLS. I sat there, I shared my screen with him, showed him 218 available lots in a 1-mile radius. That's why. Also, they were trading around 10,000 the solds for a standard lot. So unfortunately, the person who paid 13,000 for it in 2004 still has not seen their return. It's an undeveloped area here, but he said, wow, 216 lots in 1 mile. I said, yeah, it's pretty much the whole county right now. And you guys will find that too if you search. Land is kind of seeing the same overabundance of listings, but it's even harder to move. Overpriced land is even harder to move than an overpriced house. As I'm passing all these condos, you guys might be able to see Fisherman's Village back there in the distance, kind of get a whereabouts of where I am. But I also want to add, I spoke about a few weeks back on one of my videos, maybe a month, the brand new condos they were building here that were offering $20,000 commissions, $27,000 commissions, crazy commissions to move these things. And I said, well, why don't they just lower the price? Well, these condos were originally listed, second floor condos, for $330,000. Last week, they finally relented and dropped them to $244,000. Now, it wasn't sudden. They had come down from 330. They've been floating around 300, then 279. Now we're at 240, guys. We're talking 30% off original asking price, $100,000 price drop. That tells me they're having a heck of a time selling those things. The other aversion people have is this particular community was a failed community from 2007. So only one section of the community got built. The builder came in about 2 or 3 years ago, bought the rest up that had been left there, and is starting to develop these condos. The risk now is they don't finish either. And your HOA that was $300, $400 a month, well, that can't get spread around to 200 other units, and all of a sudden you're staring down the barrel of $1,000 HOA a month till God knows when, till they can finish this project with some other builder if they go under, if they abandon it. So that's something to watch out too, guys, on new builds. You never know if they're gonna finish. This one's particularly shaky because the previous one had failed and they're continuing on in there. If they do not get these filled quickly, I anticipate even more price drops because it looks like all the other buildings are starting to get finished now too. These were like the first couple of ones in the tank, but now they're pretty solid on filling up the whole community. So these waterfront condos behind me all got a brand new facelift after the hurricane. This did not look like this. It actually looks great compared to what it used to look like. And right across the street, speaking of new build condos, if I flip your camera, we have more new build condos down here in Punta Gorda. This is going to be Sea Haven. This is going to be built by Taylor Morrison. These will include docks, so I anticipate they're going to be kind of pricey. You guys who live around here might know these because they were in the news not too long ago because one of the second floors collapsed while they were constructing it. So I'm sure it's fine now, but you know, that's what was out there. So we're going to see where these land when they're finally finished as well. So Ben, you know, you keep talking about all this inventory. We're not seeing major price shifts. In certain segments, we are. I mean, things, guys, just ridiculous asking prices I would have seen 2 years ago are out the window. Stuff, honestly, stuff that I think is kind of a good deal, still on the market, 30, 60 days. It's got me a little baffled. You know, I've constantly been struggling to figure out where this all lands. What I can tell you is buyers, not messing around. Sellers, if you're listening, not messing around at all. They will make their offer. There is no meat in the middle, on my end at least. There's no meat in the middle. There's even on listings I have. There's no, we're gonna come up certain amount. It's like, here's the number. You better come back with something close to it. And most of the things we asked for in the contract, or see you later. And they do. Buyers will just walk away because there's so many other options, unless you have a super unique house in a super great location that they gotta have. They are willing to walk, guys, and I'm seeing it happen frequently. Which brings me to a trend on social media that I'm sure everybody sees. It's once a home closes, you know, agent will come on and say, so happy to secure my buyer's dream home. I can't believe we won the bid, and oh, this is so great. And it's like, I hate that phrase, secured the property. Well, what did you do? Did you negotiate? What did you get? Did you haggle? Securing the property? Did you call? Anyone can call the listing agent and give them what they're asking for. That's not hard to secure the property that way, guys. Trust me, I'd love to do it, but I've created such a persona on here. Couldn't do it if I wanted to, because you guys will hold my feet to the fire, and I respect you for that. But what did you do to secure it? And this is where we get sort of the bad rap that it's like, well, anyone can open a door and write a contract. And that's true. That's true. Anyone can show you houses. Anyone can tell you about a neighborhood. But how are they negotiating is what I want to know. Whether they're the listing agent, whether they're the buying agent, how are they negotiating? Doesn't really matter if you just walk up and give the other party what they want, in my opinion. So that always kind of irks me. We secured this. Well, what'd you do? How much did you get off the asking price? Any concessions? Did you get them to pay for title? What? Tell me more. Tell me more, because if all you did was write the number on Zillow, the listing number on Zillow, on a piece of paper, have your buyer sign it and hand it over, I don't really think you did that much. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.